cool.
All right, just to confirm for my listeners who I have on the phone here, it is the one and only MC Det. Is it you, sir?
Hip, hip. Yeah, man, it's me, brother.
Oh, I gotta say, man, it is an honor to talk to you. I first met you years ago, and before I get into that, I'm gonna ask you a fun question. Can I ask you what your favorite childhood cartoon was growing up?
My favorite childhood cartoon when I was growing up was Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know if you lot ever had that. We had that Dungeons and Dragons with loads of different characters that can do different things. You know what I mean?
We did, and there was actually a game a lot of the kids at school would play with dice and stuff and cards called Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, what? I love that, man. I used to race home from school for that one.
That's awesome. Well, the first time, well, not the first time, but the last time I saw you, you were wearing a Felix the Cat t-shirt. Do you know the shirt I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Black Felix and a white shirt.
That's it.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Do you remember as a kid what the first album you ever purchased with your own money was?
The first album I ever purchased with my own money was Electro 1. Electro 1, the album.
And I'm sorry, what was that? What kind of music was that?
That was like electro, innit? It had like the smell. Wiki. Shut up. You know. Dum 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 dum. Had all those tunes on there.
Gotcha. I like it.
Yeah, it was like electro.
And I like the Det reproduction of it. Do you remember what the first concert you ever attended was?
The first concert I ever attended was LL Cool J came to London. It's a massive show that they show a lot. It's the first time he came to London at Hammersmith Odeon, I think it was, and it was LL Cool J with Public Enemy and Rakim was the special guest. It was amazing. I'll never forget that.
That's an amazing. How old would you have been?
Excuse me?
How old would you have been? When you were at that?
I would have been around. Public Enemy. Bring the Noise. When did that come out? When's that out in the 80s?
Yeah,
I would have been about 14, 15, 16.
You know what? I would love for someone to be able to find a photo of 14-year-old MC Det at that LL Cool J show, somewhere in that crowd.
That would have been amazing.
What was your first, I guess, introduction then to sound system culture?
Well, the sound system culture, I have an older brother who was a DJ, and he played rare grooves, which is old soul. And I had a group of friends we used to hang out with that we used to go to a club. And it was like a youth center kind of club, but it was just for boys. And so it was like me and about 4 other guys. We put together our own sound system. So we had a sound system called Special Touch, and we would play old soul and reggae and kind of dance, kind of popular dance music.
Let me ask you, would you say that there's almost a battle comparison that used to occur back in those days, sound system to sound system? You'd always try to build a bigger, better one than the next guy, and you'd actually battle your systems,
there's
right?
been loads of clashes. I mean, you had the reggae, the English reggae sound systems, and they would be clashing each other all the time. So, like Unity and the Rag Twins used to be in them. So you had the Unity sound system and Java and Coxsone and Saxon, and there was a lot. It was, some sound systems out of those I mentioned, some of them had really good MCs in them, and to beat other sounds, and others just had really powerful sets. Do you know what I'm saying?
Sure. And you know what, before we go further, I just want to mention that these guys are coming out here December 6th. They'll be here on Friday, December 6th for Peaceful Entertainment. You're going to get the peaceful sound system in there. And then with us, on December 7th, we've got PK sound system that'll be in our club. Yeah, we aren't using stock systems when you guys come out here. We've stacked up some pretty elaborate sound systems with great engineers to man them as well.
Really? Have we got a real heavy bass section?
You do. Yes, you do.
Brilliant.
You're gonna have a lot of fun when you're out here. I hope you appreciate the sound system.
Wait, I'm really looking forward to it. I really am, seriously.
Well, and the peaceful one, let me say for Brian, he built this one with his hands. So kudos to Brian and his system. Yeah, the PK sound system, Craig, great guy, but he did purchase it. PK is a very well known sound system.
Okay.
And yeah, we've invested a lot into our sound system because we want to put you guys on a proper sound system. We don't want you on some stock shit, right?
Excellent. That's excellent, because Brockie knows about the sound system culture. He comes from that himself, so on a big set, both of us be on a big sound system set. It takes us back, but it's great because obviously the engineers and the technicians are far better with technology when it comes to sound these days than they were back then, I think. So yeah, the quality is. I'm looking forward to it. That sounds really interesting.
Let me ask you this: do you think that sound system is something that's been lost over the years, or do you think it's still appreciated by promoters as well as patrons today?
Well, a lot of people have turned to clubs, especially during the winter months, and so the sound system gets kind of lost because the club will already have its own system set built into the club, which kind of puts us back. But when it comes to festivals, I don't know how you lot are with festivals in Canada, and local events. The sound system is so is so needed. Do you know what I'm saying? In England, there's a few sound systems out there that are of good quality, and they tend to do pretty well in the summer months. And in the winter months, they usually have residencies in a big hall or something somewhere, or somewhere under the train tracks that's been turned into a club space. So it's not as popular as it was before, because I don't know how it is in Canada. We have things like sound pollution and stuff here. So you can have your sound system. Imagine you're playing your sound system, and then you've got someone from the local council standing outside with a machine gauging how loud your sound system is, and then coming to you and telling you you've got to turn it down. It's not the greatest of feeling for somebody who's put together a big sound system. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely, and it's kind of what's destroyed our culture here, is that all the condos went up, and now we have what you say, sound pollution police, and it's because of all the people that live around what used to be our club district, if not what was our club district. And that's why, like, if you look at one of the parties you're doing, it's in Kitchener, which is like a not to say anything bad about Kitchener, but it's a farm country, and there's not very many people complaining about noise out there. And we luckily have one of the spots in Toronto, Spadina College, where noise is still encouraged.
Yeah.
So we'll be less noisy than the jackhammers that are going all night beside us. Let's just put it that way. But let me ask you this: and what was your first experience, I guess, with rave culture?
My first experience with rave culture was actually before we even started, and there was down where I live, where I grew up with my parents. At the bottom of the road, I lived at the top of the road from a river, and down by the river there was loads of warehouses. And the first event I went to was in one of the warehouses that they did an acid house rave party at the bottom of my road in this warehouse.
Genesis.
It was called Genesis, yeah. Genesis. Brockie just reminded me. And I didn't even know what it was called, to be honest, but it was the most craziest thing I'd ever seen. But it was Genesis, yeah. It was absolutely crazy, man. It ran for about 2 days.
What?
Yeah, it ran for it was crazy, man. And it was just a warehouse with a sound system in there. Thousands of people for about 2 days. It was crazy. So, I was absolutely gobsmacked with what was taking place. And it was the first time I'd ever seen that kind of setup, like with the rave setup and how different the ravers looked. I was coming from reggae and soul and, that kind of background, blues. So to see that was like, first thing, it was actually quite frightening because there was so much people.
Were you a lyricist and an MC by this point already?
By this point, I've always kind of been a lyricist, I liked to dance when I was younger. I did all the break dancing thing and all that when I was coming up, the body popping and the break dancing, and which swiftly disappeared, and then there's just kind of this go-go dancing thing that came in, like soul to soul. I kind of got into that as well, and all along them times I used to be, reggae was the most dominant thing on the road in England, so all my friends spoke they chat ragga, and they were really, really good. You know what I'm saying? So, I could never compete with them. So, this new music was coming through called rap music at a certain time, and so I was like the master of rap music amongst my friends who was chatting reggae. You know what I'm saying? All those years ago. So yeah, I think around that time I was writing little rap bits. Yeah.
Now, when would you say that was the first time you started emceeing to jungle?
MC to jungle. When did I first start MCing to jungle? Would have been, when did jungle start? When did you start to play jungle, Morby? Yeah, because Brockie used to do things like, we used to end the show, I remember all the time, where Brockie would, on the radio, Brockie would play, what's that sort of man, then get coffee, what's her name?
Yeah. Just not just like a lady.
There was a lady reggae artist.
That's when I started to introduce reggae.
Yeah, so he used to play this hardcore tune and mix in this reggae vocal from beginning to end. And it would be absolutely, people would go mad every week for this mix that he used to do. You understand? And so, but jungle music weren't made per se at that time. But that was jungle. First time Brockie kind of done that. That was my first time. That would have been like the 90s, early 90s, 92, 93, around that
time. It's okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this then.
He's just from the
corner.
Your MC style to me is it is jungle music, like it is a jungle MC. To hear that you really didn't get any help or you weren't inspired by any of the pioneers of jungle is just amazing to me. It's like, so who would you say if we were to try and make a Det blend and we were trying to grab a bunch of MCs and put them together to say who inspired Det to be what he is, the style and flow, not the lyrical content, but the structuring and the way that you style your lyrics. Who would you say I would look to?
There'd be people like, my biggest inspirations when it came to that I saw what they was doing and wanted to kind of do it, I'll flip it kind of to this new music that when we was doing it was, you had Toppers, a guy named Mad P, he used to inspire me. And it weren't so much lyrics he did little hooks. You think I never see you when you jump over the wall. You think I never see you when you buckle and you fall. Those are kind of like the real long extensions of his lyric. They were just little hooks, but they used to drop him at the right place and this real rapid, like hardcore music, acid hardcore music, which there wasn't much space for an MC to say anything, but he found a way to fill tiny little gaps, and so that kind of taught me what to do. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. How about your voice itself? Was it just a natural? Because you're someone who's got a very distinctive voice, and
yeah.
Was that inspired? Did you always want to have that rough kind of darker voice, or is it just no?
Do you know what? One of the reasons that in the early days I was very young, starting in this rave scene, and it was grown guys that was MCing and DJing, but I'd started on the radio, and so I wasn't in the clubs, so nobody could see me. And from when I was a very young kid, I've always had a really heavy voice, so people thought I was older than I actually was, but because of the tone of my voice. Do you understand? And yeah. I think my voice developed from, as I said, I come from a musical family, and everybody in my family, I'm one of 9. I've got 6 sisters and 3 brothers, me and 2 others. And my dad was a musician, and he taught everybody to play an instrument. And he taught me, which the instrument he loved was the saxophone. So when I was young, I used to go to saxophone lessons. And I think that's how my voice develops, as heavy as it is. But then if you heard my younger brother and then my older brother, they also got very heavy voices.
You know, it's funny, I got to bring this up. Brockie, when I was talking to him, he referred to your older brother as your bigger brother. And I said,
yeah.
You're telling me there's a bigger brother than a Det? I got to see that. But you say he's my older brother. He ain't my bigger brother.
He's my older brother.
Well, you know what? That's something that's also predominant about you is you're a very big man. Fitness is obviously a big aspect of your life. Has it always been that way?
Say that again, sorry.
Well, you're someone who I can tell goes to the gym a lot. My question is,
Oh, yeah.
have you always been a fitness
Well,
person?
Yeah, got loads of trophies for athletics and football and basketball, and I was a very sporty youngster coming up. When it comes to actually sculpturing my body like that, when me and Brockie got popular, everyone just wanted to do stuff for us, innit? So that guy wants to be a barber, that guy wants to help you shop for clothes, and then this guy's a personal trainer, he wants to train you, you know what I'm saying? And so I had a friend from the area, and he really respected how I was coming through with the music. And so he's like, look, your name's Det, man, you've got to have a Det body. I was like, oh. He came and take me out of my house physically, and he used to take me to the gym for 2 years straight. And and then when he went on, he left off and went to be a fireman, and I was just caught in the loop of what he had left me to do. You know what I'm saying? So
That's amazing.
I didn't really think about it.
Well, where did the name Det come from?
Well, Det's an old West Indian slang for wicked or cool or bad, but not so much like something, more like an action. So if you did something, you'd be like, oh boy, that is a Det move.
Wow.
Oh, that is. Did you see that? That was Det. Boy, them creps are Det, blood. You know what I'm saying? It's like a cool. It was to explain how cool something was. Det is a West Indian word for something cool, bad, or you know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Like, boy, this is a Det show you're listening to right now. Boy, you play some Det tunes, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I get you, and that's way off from what I heard your name, the origin was. I've seen your name spelled actually.
Yeah, but
Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, also, it came from, sorry to cut you, but there was also, it comes from deaf every time. So as a dancer, it used to be D.E.T. D is for deaf, because that's how rappers used to rap back then. D is for deaf, looking up deaf all the time. And E is for energy, extra rhymes. And T is for top of the stack. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So my name used to be like D.E.T., like kind of like a dancing name. And then this slang word came out called, that we were saying, so boy, that's Det, that's Det, that's Det. So the dots in between the E and T.
Well, I've seen it. I've actually seen it spelled Det, like somebody. I've seen it spelled with 2 T's before, and I've seen it spelled like Det, like somebody.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be 2 T's.
It's not, right?
No, it's 1 T.
Thank you. And no, I've also seen it spelled like debt, like when you owe money, like you're in debt.
When you owe money, yeah, I've seen that as well. D-E-B-T.
Yeah, like, he's not MC Det, like you're in debt, dude. But
I'm not in debt. Some think it was MC Death, like like kill death, MC Death. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I don't know, man. It's not death. You know what I'm saying? It took a while for people to get to grips with it. Yeah.
Well, you're somebody I've like growing up listening to tapes. You didn't have the privilege of the clarity that some of the recordings are now, and also there's a lot of pages where you can read your lyrics. But you were somebody I used to sit with pen and paper and listen back over and over and try to understand what you were saying, because you I say your lyrics, you become a part of the beat. You're not writing it. You're not in it. You are it. It's like he's making another beat line with his words.
Right. Yeah. That's how I try to do. So don't disturb what the DJ's doing. Also, when MCs first came through on this music, they weren't welcomed with open arms. So, DJs would turn you down slowly through the set, and some of them would just turn you off. You know what I'm saying? And then you'd have the crowd saying, "Excuse me," and you'd go to the front of the stage and they say, "Could you stop talking? You're messing up the music." It was kind of hard to break through as an MC, so I didn't like people coming up and saying stuff like that. So I found a way to do it where I would sit in amongst the music and not disturb it too much. Do you know what I'm saying? And try to pop the song rather than hype it the way the other guys were doing it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't know how you did it, but you did it. And it's amazing to listen to you do it. Your lyrical content, I guess we could talk about that a little too, because you have a message in what you're saying. There's not just hip and groove and moving, dancing. There's a lot of, For Finity, let's say. So,
little messages in there.
yeah, what inspires you for those messages you get?
Oh well, sometimes it was sometimes about, you know, as a youth coming up, it was like I would try and put little things in there, like, you know, that kind of gave you confidence to want to move forward and not to feel, you know, and believe you can do things. Do you know what I'm saying? And my philosophy behind it was trying to make people forget about the world around them for a moment. Do you understand? And just focus on just this, the music. Just focus on this, where we are, the sounds that you're hearing. Do you know what I'm saying? And you know, occasionally there'd be things that would happen in society that would affect me, but I wouldn't hit them directly. I'd subliminally take things out of it that would make a person think differently if they're, you know, if they're in thought. You know what I mean? Or really high.
Well, yeah, some of your, I remember some of your lyrics, like "You joking, what you smoking" is very potent.
Yeah.
It's very anti-drug use. Stay clean, don't be a dumb raver.
Yeah. So I would say that people would think that I smoked crack. I was like, I'm not saying I smoke crack. that's not what I'm saying, my man.
You can't hear the lyrics.
I'm saying to you, don't do it.
Well, and you know what? There is some, like, I remember MC Ridla, the first time I had to ask him what he meant for a lyric, and it's like the words he was using are just not in my lexicon. Like, gal dem a call dem a blow up my beepa dem a cough with a poom poom eat. I'm like, what do you mean? What does that even mean? And, oh, you know, it means pussy. I'm like, well, where? Who uses that? But, you know, I'm not used to that type of slang, and as a little Jewish kid over here, I'm like, I've never heard that.
Yeah, like, he's kind of West Indian slang.
He did, and he does.
He's pretty cool. I like Riddler.
Yes, we all love Ridla, and we all wish he'd come back. You know, I actually talk to him at least once a month and just try and get him to come back.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Let me ask you this.
It's not his thing.
No, he's doing his own thing now. But okay, are you familiar with Mount Rushmore, the four faces of the presidents carved into the stone?
Yeah.
Okay, my question to you is, if we were to create a Mount Rushmore for the jungle industry, which four faces would you put up there?
I'd put Lenny the Ice, who made We Are Here, and I'd put people up for different reasons.
Okay, let's hear it.
Lenny the Ice would go up there, because he was like one of the first people to kind of quell that jungle thing. You know, there's others, but for me, it was kind of, Lenny was, you know, everybody was kind of in awe of what he did there. Then I'd have, oh, blimey, mate, this is a really tough one.
It's okay.
That's what I'm saying when you ask me, you're stuck.
Brockie in the background there.
Well, you know, I'd put Brockie in there,
Okay.
I'd probably put Eastman from Kool FM up there as well.
He put Eastman.
Excuse me?
Brockie put Eastman.
He put Eastman.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd put Eastman because he was the only station pumping that sound 24/7.
That's what
Yeah,
Brockie
with
said.
MCs, nobody else had the MCs fall on like that. And with his events, he used to pump it. MCs, 2-3 MCs on the set. Nobody else weren't doing that. He was the first. So definitely Eastman. And then I'd have to choose somebody that put into commercial view. Somebody like toss a coin between the Shy FX and Goldie.
I was thinking both.
Yeah. It would probably be Shy FX. That kind of put, you know, I'd put him there because he put the music, he took it to that commercial field. Do you understand? So I'd have to pick up the guy that took it to the commercial field.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's a great form.
Yeah.
All right, final question. This is another fun one for you.
Go on.
If you could put 5 items in a vault that would encapsulate our rave culture, so in 20,000 years they're going to dig this thing up, we want them to know what the rave once was. What 5 items would you put in the vault?
Oh man, I'd put number one, I'd put a dub plate.
Okay.
I'd put a dub plate 10-inch of We Are E. So they have a dub plate of We Are E in there on record. They'll have to find a record player. And I'd put a lighter in there.
Can I hold on before we go any further? Can I tell you a little joke that I have about your lighter line?
Go on.
I said that Det can't even say lighter anymore. Nobody has them. Now you got to just yell out cell phone. Cell phone.
Yeah.
Cell phone.
Cell phone.
Thank you,
No,
Det.
you can still. Yeah, but you can still search for lighter. Oh no, they're using those inhaler. What's those things called?
Vaporizer.
Vapor. Vaporize, yeah.
Vapor.
Put your phones in the air.
There you
You
go.
can't say lighter. I'll probably put a lighter in there.
Okay.
A dub plate. Oh, blimey. To encapsulate our scene.
Here, you could put full cities in there
It's
if you
not really
wanted.
fun, is it? I could put a whistle in there.
You got a dub plate and a lighter, and I'm saying the vault's huge. You can put full cities, you can put people, you can put whatever you want.
Oh, I could put people, I could put anything
Put
in there.
anything. It's an imaginary
Oh,
vault.
I'll put a club in there, innit? Oh, come on, bro, man. This is space, innit?
Yeah.
I'd put a club in there. You know what I mean? And I'm not even a club. I'd put a warehouse in there. Yeah.
Okay.
Put
Got
a
a nice one.
warehouse in there, and I'd put a separate sound system because it's not club. I'm trying to show them rave, innit?
Yeah.
So I'd put a warehouse in there, and separately I'd put a sound system. Then I have to put this thing together like Meccano. So they'll have a warehouse, and then have a sound system, and then they'll have a few dub plates. You know,
Okay.
Super Sart Shop. They'll have the WIE. They'll have a few other old school Leviticus. They'll have about 5 dub plates and a lighter, yes, and a whistle, and can I put drugs in there?
You can put drugs. Drugs is part of the
Okay.
rave.
And I'd have to put a quarter of an ecstasy tablet in there.
You know, a lot of people mention the
Not a whole
love
one,
dove. Is
not
that
a half?
a
Just
quarter?
a quarter. Yeah.
That's the perfect amount.
Yeah. Okay, maybe not. Maybe that'd be too strong. No, nothing like that because it's illegal. I'll put a balloon in there. I'll give them a balloon. A balloon with them. They can have a balloon.
Like a whip it, where they do the laughing gas shit in the balloon.
Yeah, the laughing gas when they get a balloon in there.
Whip it,
So
sweet
now
home.
they've got a big a warehouse. They can put the sound system inside there. Wow, what is this? They can play the tunes. Wow, this is crazy. What do we do? Have a whistle, blow it. Oh my God. Yeah, flash your lighter in the air. That's great. Okay, I'm feeling it, but I need a bit more. Here's a balloon. Do you know what I'm saying?
Here's a balloon.
Now you're there. You're there, bruv.
Oh, I
You're
love
there.
it.
You're there.
You're awesome, Det. I can't wait to have you out here once again before. So December 6th, that's Friday at Wax Night
Yeah.
Club in Kitchener for peaceful entertainment. And Saturday at One Loft for You and Me Productions. Tickets for my event is youandme@outlook.com. $25 in advance.
Get your tickets. People get your tickets.
Get your tickets. Here, Det, I want to talk to you for a little bit, so stay on the phone, but I'm going to sign off to the listeners, okay?
Yeah, go on then.
All right, awesome. I hope as always you guys enjoyed listening as much as I enjoyed chatting. And until next time, peace out.